So this time we're going to be managing a game in my Atletico Madrid save where I've successfully been able to build one of the best teams that I've ever managed on Football Manager. They are an elite team, Atletico Madrid, and we've been able to dominate La Liga. So the next game we're playing against here is against Real San Sebastian, which is what you know as Real Sociedad. So before I go into in-game management, I like to look at the opposition in detail. Now I'm currently using the FM24 Tato skin. That's why I have access to the next opposition in my home tab, where I can see that Real San Sebastian prefer to play a tiki-taka style of play. I can also get a glance at their set pieces and also what their team strength is and all those kind of stuff. But in case you're not using the Tato skin, you can find it in the data hub like this. You can go ahead and check all the other information about them. You have to go back to the next opposition tab and go ahead and click overview. It's going to show you everything you need to know about the next opposition that you're playing against. So in my case here is Real San Sebastian. And you can see that their main striker in G Belotti, what's his first name? If I just go ahead and click him here, Simon Gentili. He's not scoring a lot of goals, but he's one of their key men. So you just need to keep an eye on him and know that he's one of the players that we're going to want to figure out how he can go ahead and play against him. On the list, you can also see other key findings in here. It tells you how Real San Sebastian prefer to play, what they're good at, what they're not good at. There's a team defending in here. If you go ahead and click that, you can see that they concede above 0.5 goals per game, just over 0.6. So not a lot, since the season is still new, that we still have a lot to work on there. You can go ahead and see other things that they're good at. You can see their goal output from forwards. Simon Gentili is one of their players that has low non-penalty expected goals. He doesn't really score a lot. There's nobody else in the high other quadrants where you have high non-xG goals. So as much as he's a good player for them, he's a key player, he doesn't score a lot. I can also see here on the left hand side, you can see their expected tactic and their expected player roles as well. So I do like the FM24 skin for and the FM24 Tato skin for this. I think you still have access to this in the next opposition tab on the data hub. You can see the player roles that they normally use. Simon Belotti is their one striker in here. Gentili is the other striker. If I go ahead and click Belotti, you can see that Belotti usually comes deep to get the ball. He doesn't concentrate very much. His bravery isn't very good. So he's one player that, as much as he has other attributes that are great, he's the kind of player that you don't really want to, how do I put this, you don't really want to put all your energy on him. His finishing is quite great, so you can try to stop it from getting on the ball, but you don't really want to mark him because he has that attribute to actually drop deep and get the ball. So he comes deep to get the ball. So if you're having a player marking him, it can actually cause you to draw out the defender and get somebody out of position. So I tend to avoid marking those kind of players. One more thing, we can also look at their pressing intensity. You can see that Real San Sebastian are in the upper fourth quadrant where they have high number of opposition passes per defensive action. What that tells me is that they don't usually press the opposition that much, even though they have a high defensive line. They're not really the type that are going to force the opposition into turnovers and try to win back possession. Teams like us and Valencia and Real Madrid and Athletic Club Bilbao, we are in the green quadrant where we tend to hassle the opposition and win the ball back really quickly. So looking at how San Sebastian play, they may allow us to have possession, so that's good. I can also take a sneak peek at their set pieces. You can see San Sebastian prefer outswing deliveries to the central area, so I'm going to be wary of that during the match. And when they're defending, they tend to cover the near post. So in case I want to play my crosses, I'll likely play it to the far post instead. So this is my primary tactical setup against teams in La Liga when I'm using Atletico Madrid. And in the game against San Sebastian, I need to be sure how they usually set up all the tactics that they don't like playing against. So I could just go back to San Sebastian and then look at the data hub again, go back to the next opposition tab and then look at the next opposition's scouting report. You can see most of all these other instructions about them. You can see that their preferred shape is a 4-2-3-1. That is how they prefer to do it. And we can go back to the analyst report. I think that's what I was looking for. In the analyst report, you can see their formation analysis and see the formation that they don't like playing against really well. So we can see that the 4-3-3 DM wide is what they don't like playing against. So that's what I'm going to start with when I'm playing against Real San Sebastian. Again, you can also go over to their manager and you can see the manager, Fernando Diniz. Wow, that's a special one. Diniz is in charge of Real San Sebastian and he's going to play with a 4-2-3-1 system. In case he switches to a 5-3-2 DM wing back or DM with two wing backs, I know that he's switching to a defensive shape. And if he switches to the 5-2-3 DM wide players, I know he's switching to a sort of attacking variant of his tactic. So Fernando Diniz is going to be an honor facing you, but that's the way it's going to be. So 4-2-3-1 is what they prefer to set up. We're going to start off with a 4-3-3. When it comes to picking teams, I don't really think too much about it when I'm looking at the opposition sometimes. But if you look at the opposition setup right now, they could have this as their lineup and then it doesn't end up being those players that start the game. So I just tend to just go over their players one by one and just see what they can do and what they cannot, and then know what I'm expecting. I know that their fullback in Bet Beta is not a very good crosser of the ball. You'll be shocked that he can still go ahead and cross the ball for his player, and then he go ahead and score. But crossing not very good, marking not very good. So we can actually take advantage of the right flank, or whoever is playing at the left flank, sorry, and exploit their right fullback that is tends to be the more attacking variant of their fullback. Let's look at Raul Naro. Raul Naro's crossing is not that great as well. So their fullbacks are not really going to be the ones to cause us problems from the wide areas. I'm going to be expecting their wingers to do the job. So here's a winger in Gentili. Simon Gentili is good on both feet. So we're going to be very careful how we go about approaching him. Work rate, not so much. So we can have somebody that is strong playing on this side. If you go ahead and look at the other winger and Pedrola, a lot better crossing, so you can have somebody that is slightly more defensive in here to play on this other side. Their number 10 is who? Jose Ramon Quintana. Very good passing, vision not so great, but you could obviously settle for being a Metala. He's a very fast player, so I could want to have a defensive midfielder that is very solid in defense. But except that, I don't really think of too much. I try to get my best players on the field. I could choose to do a quick pick, but let me just go about this real quick and see and show you how I normally go about doing it. So from the goalkeeper, I just select the arrow button that's down here and then pick my best goalkeeper because he's going to be the one starting. And for the right player, I know I want to have something that is strong defensively here. I'm going to go for Stalins. Stalins can play as a fullback on automatic duty. His crossing is about 13, so he's quite good. He can get forward if I want him to. That's why I have him on automatic instead of a selected role. For the wing back here, I'm going to select my best wing back because that's what we're going to have. Oh, hold on, San Sebastian. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. On the left hand side, we can choose the other center back and then go ahead and ask my right to be a player that I've not used very often since the start of the season. Abu Dramane Traore. Where is he? He hasn't played a lot this season, so I'm going to have him to start the game for us. And DLP, I'm going to select somebody that can defend. I could use a playmaker in there, but I think I prefer to have a defensive midfielder. So I'm going to go for Gothroyd and then change the role from the DLP to play as an anchor or a defensive midfielder on defend duty, just to have him be a bit more solid, because the number 10 is not very fast, but he's good at passing. So I just want to have somebody in here. So now that I have everybody set up in their particular position, we can go ahead and start the game, which is why we're actually here, to see how we can go ahead and topple Fernando Diniz, Real Sociedad or Real San Sebastian. So it's almost time for the game then. I'm just going to make some slight changes to the way we're going to start. I need my settings to be, hold on, just pause it real quick here. And we're going to just change it because the first thing I normally do when I'm going to play big matches or any matches on Football Manager that I'm not sure how the game is going to go, which is almost like 50% of the games that we play, I tend to start with comprehensive highlights. Because I'm used to Atletico Madrid, I can go with key highlights and play this game. But just to see how the game is going to unfold, if I'm not sure, I go with comprehensive. I just go ahead and hit play. And currently the camera I'm using is director camera because I'm almost in like a cinematic mode when I'm playing this Atletico Madrid save. But I can just go ahead and pause the game here in order to see the bigger picture of what we're doing in game. I can change from the director camera to either a 2D camera or a sideline camera if you prefer to see it in 3D, even though you're watching it in sideline like this. The idea about using a camera like this is that it's going to show you the way your tactic is actually set up. Now I'm going with a 4-3-3. You can see my back four in my fullback here in Park Myung-jin. You have my two center backs, and then of course my right back is playing on this other side. Jivarin is actually an advanced playmaker on support duty. He's going to be a lot closer to the ball. He's going to be the one carrying the ball around. My DM is over here. Now I'm looking for where my central midfielder is. This is probably my central midfielder. Probably. So you can just go ahead and hit play and just let the frame continue. There's my center back in Seferovic. We're currently playing on a low tempo, so that's my striker in Albridge. So the game is just going to be really patient like that, kind of boring. It's usually how most of Football Manager is actually going to unfold, especially when you're thinking about what you're going to do next. So we've got on to lose possession here, and straight away we can see that our players are in trouble. There's also a foul in here. Jean-Thiel has gone on to draw a foul from one of my players. Nothing really comes out from it. So here's a throwing scenario that they have. They have Quintana. They're number 10 actually. The number 10 is so close to the touchline. So that could be a problem for us. If you had somebody marking him, it could be that we're going to have a player dragged out of position. But I don't think in my opposition instructions I have anybody marking him. Quintana is actually, there's no type marking on him, so nobody's going to follow him wherever he's going. You just go ahead and have possession. Here's Eritrea. Ooh. Goalkeeper has possession of that. So here's Jibarin playing in the advanced playmaker role. He just plays the ball back. Spashes is playing out wide. He goes ahead. No foul. Ref, come on. Now, at any point in time, you can go ahead and pause the game to see what's happening. Here we have it throwing, and it's currently set up for long throws. And if I go back to my tactics screen, you can see in the set pieces position, I go ahead and change from set pieces. Currently, it's set to corners. Go over to throwings, and throwings in the attacking third. You can see that I have a long throw all set up. If that hasn't been working for you, or if you've been trying something and it's not working, you can obviously go into the game and change it. But so far, I've seen that my long throw hasn't been working, so I'm going to just go ahead and change it to a walk the ball into the box and just keep it that way, because I don't think I have any players that are taking advantage of the long throw. It's not going far enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose walk the ball into the box, and our next throwing is going to be something else. So it's not going to be okay. He goes ahead to make the decision. There it is. Wow, that was instant. So he didn't choose the long throw. He went on to play something short to somebody nearby, and we got a goal from it. And I don't think it even activated the change yet, but the goal is given, so we're going to go ahead and accept that change now. No more long throws. He goes ahead to make a very quick one to a player on the side. Spati just plays it back, and a quick one, just like that. We're one goal ahead. Okay. Just by watching the game, we can see how they try to play out. If it's possible for them to play out from the back, they can't really seem to get through. Our players are not also over pressing. We're just kind of having good positions to see how we can go ahead and engage them when we want to. But we somehow also stand back a little bit. But there's a chance. They're still trying to play out. Boom, we've one possession back. And that's Park Myung-jin playing the ball through out to Donzai Emery. Makes it goal number 2. Now we can choose to go a few frames back, let's say 10 frames backwards. The moment to go ahead to win possession from here. He goes ahead to play the ball to a difficult position where they can't really go ahead and play out. So it's now a 2v1. And at this point, Estanish is in trouble. We go ahead to win possession back. Spashes wins possession out to the fullback. The fullback is Park Myung-jin playing as a complete wing back on support duty. He goes ahead and runs through the middle. If he was playing as a wing back, he probably wouldn't have made this inside run, because wing backs tend to run outside. So the fact that he's playing as a complete wing back makes him come through the middle like this and then play a through ball into the striker. Albrecht is playing as a deep line forward on attack duty. That's why he's kind of away from the post. He's not making a run into the box, so he just goes ahead to hold on to possession of the ball and play to somebody else, which is Warrenza Emery, playing as a central midfielder on attack duty. He's the one that goes on to finish those chances, and that's how we're going ahead to get the second goal in the game. It's a very simple setup based on the player roles that I selected, knowing that Real San Sebastian aren't going to do a very great job defending against a 4-3-3. That is why I went on with the 4-3-3 system, and it was able to we're just dominating the game at this point. So I think I can switch from a comprehensive highlight now to a more extensive highlight, just to reduce the workload of what we're doing here. Oh, there's a lovely ball. Park Myung-jin is there to actually recycle possession. So we're still playing well. I like the fact that I'm using a low tempo now. At some point, I used to fight against the low tempo, but I think for a dominant team like Atletico Madrid, like the one I have here, it actually helps us play with the low tempo to just control games like that. We don't really rush things. We're just moving the ball around. Nobody's rushing into anything. Here, Stalins tried to play ball. Can he? Lovely ball. Ooh, John has actually missed that. So at random moments, I know it's 22 minutes into the game right now. I usually just pause the game in case things were not going well. They're going well right now. I wish we could, maybe in another video, we could have a game where it's not going to be so easy for us. But in the touchline tablet, you can go back to, like, I'm currently using the FM24 Tato skin now. You can see all the other items that you can go ahead and look for. We're in complete dominance of the game, so nothing really matters here. Looking at the average ball position, you can see our average positions as for Real San Sebastian, and for us, looking at where we shut up when we're in possession of the ball, when we're not in possession of the ball. You can see that we're not dropping too deep when we're not in possession of the ball. You can also look at the analysis of the game. You can see San Sebastian's formation, their players, and their moods for some reason. Yeah, you can actually see their body language, how they feel about the game right now. Their centre back in Prim is currently feeling very aggressive, so he could go ahead and get a red card in the game if possible. Looking at their stats, we're in complete control of the game. 56% possession so far, 1.4x XG. It's a quiet game. I'm going to show you my tactic very soon. Looking at the shots, not so many. It's still early on in the game. You can see our heat map, we're a lot higher than they are, playing a very high defensive line, controlling the game completely. You can also see their passing network. And you can see the number 20 here in Spasic. He's playing out wide. He's supposed to cut inside, and you can see the number 15 in Park Myung-jin, currently staying at the wide side. And our number 3 is Godroyd, playing as a defensive midfielder on defend duty. He's also kind of forming a back three for us in this sense, and that's the way everybody is set up right now. We can also see how the opposition likes to play out from the back. Here's the goalkeeper in Levitsky. He's basically rolling the ball out to the center back on the left hand side. I've been told that the AI tends to do this a lot. I'm going to just try something really quick right now. I'm going to ask my central attacking, or my striker for some reason, to go ahead and mark the opposition that is on the left hand side. Right, go ahead and mark the left sided center back. And then we can go ahead to the opposition screen and then trigger press the right sided. Okay, since we're trigger pressing this guy, yeah, we're just going to put type marking on the left sided guy and see what the goalkeeper goes on to do when that happens. Does he change his mind about who he's going to play the ball out to? Here's Gentile. Can we stop him? He does play the cross. Ooh. Here's the goalkeeper now. He's still deciding to play the ball to this guy. Our striker doesn't go all the way to go and mark him, which is a problem. Even though I've asked him to do that, he doesn't go all the way. So there's the ball to the left-sided center back. We're going to want to take advantage of that. I've seen that the goalkeeper has done that twice in the game now, and we haven't taken advantage of it. We've been trigger pressing the right-sided center back all this while, and we've tried to type mark the left-sided center back, but no difference. So since we've seen them play out from the back more often, they almost scored us there. We can go back to the opposition instructions and change who the goalkeeper is going to, or change who we're going to trigger press. We're going to now trigger press the opposition's current left-sided center back, not the right. We're going to just put trigger press on this guy, turn off all other instructions, just have the trigger press on the left-sided center back, and then watch what the goalkeeper does when that happens. Let's see what happens when the ball is played to him. So it's halftime then. We're leading 2-0, but we're not in complete control of this game. I can feel San Sebastian getting back in the game just a little bit. So in this situation, what I normally do is to try and increase the tempo a little bit. This is the time to show you my system, my tactic that I'm using. We're currently playing with shorter passing and slightly lower tempo. So all I'm going to do here is just switch to a slightly shorter, slightly higher tempo, and then try to increase the tempo of the game a bit, take a bit of control and include some chaos into the game. Since they are going to increase their tempo, we're going to increase our tempo as well and see what they do if they can actually go ahead and handle us. At this point, I tend to start using shouts, especially in the second half. You notice I didn't really touch it in the first half. So here I can go ahead and encourage my team, ask them to do a bit more. So let's see how the team actually responds to this. Well, I've not made any substitutions yet. We're going to go into that real soon. So here's another chance. We're starting to turn the game around now. Here's passage. Ooh, didn't really get something out of that, but there's a corner now. We can look at our corner setup and see what we have. We have one player coming short. We have one player on the near post or slowly marking the goalkeeper. There's another player standing on the near post. There's a line of opposition defenders over here, and then there's one player on the far post for us. 3 players that are inside the box as box threats. So you can just see what my player goes on to do here. We can go back to set pieces and see what we've set up for our corners. Corner on the left hand side. Where are we? We're currently on the left hand side. So we set it near post. And we have 3 players on the edge of the area, or 3 players inside the box. Okay, 2. 1 player lurking around. 1 player attacking the near post. The other player lurking around the near post. And then 1 player on the far post. That is basically what we have here. 2 players on this edge. 1 player just as a box threat. And 1 player coming short. So let's see what happens when we go ahead and take the corner. He should go to the near post. Crosses it, near post, but nobody is there. Goalkeeper just goes ahead to win it. And if I don't like to see that over and over again, I can go back to the set pieces, go to the set piece settings, change it from near post to far post. Do I have other options? There's a short option and a mixed option. So number 1, I'm going to change it to far post and ask my best player to be on the far post. Ask this other guy to attack the near post, and then the last guy to lurk around the far post. Okay, there's no lurk around the far post here. I have him as a box threat, so I can drag him as an aerial threat to lurk around the far post and just have it in there like that. Go ahead and confirm. We should have a different set piece going on. Now it's about half an hour or 70th minute. I can consider making changes now. I can just pause the game and go over to tactics and see who is feeling tired or feeling jaded in the game. My striker in Christopher Albridge is currently losing some stamina or concentration, so I can just pull him out and look for a player that has been complaining that he hasn't played most of the season in John Anton. So I'm going to ask Anton now to come in, but instead of playing as a deep line forward, I'm going to ask him to play as an advanced forward because I'm going to need somebody running behind the line. Now for Yonkep, I can go ahead and swap Yonkep as well for Fresnel Landu, another player that I could have come in. Instead of playing as an advanced playmaker, I can ask him to play as an inside forward this time on attack duty, just to create some firepower in there. And of course, the last substitution that could be another player here in Haas. I could bring Haas in for Julian Stalins. Stalins has been defending well, but Haas is more of an attacking fullback. So instead of having him play here as a fullback on automatic, I'm going to have him play on attack. You can see that he's a 21-year-old player that has 5-star rating. I'm trying to build something for him, trying to get him into the game and develop him as a wonder kid. So having him come into the game at when we're leading 2-0 is not actually a bad decision. So you can go ahead and confirm that. Give them a very good team tour that motivates everybody. Go ahead and click confirm and just proceed with the game and see what happens. Traore is another player I need to watch because he's currently on a yellow card. We don't want him to lose his cool and then get sent off. That's not going to be very good for us towards the latter stage of the game. Here's passage out to Albrecht. Possession football. Yonkep is in space. Now he makes his 3. Lovely possession football then. So San Sebastian has not been able to get into the game. Having that low tempo, playing in the formation that they are vulnerable to all the time, is actually giving us the advantage in this game, and we've been in complete control of this game. At some point, it looked like they were coming back into the game, but just bringing in some fresh pair of legs, it might just help us. So being 3-0 up, we're good. Keeping the ball well, passing the ball well, not allowing them to have a chance. It's been good so far. So here's another attempt. They're going to be probably full on attack on us right now, right? How about that? How about that for a chance? Now, while I'm watching the game, I like to look at the top right here. It shows me the opposition's formation. Fernando Diniz is still playing in a 4-2-3-1. That means he hasn't switched to an attacking variant or a defensive variant in this game. He's just playing his normal game despite losing 3-0, which is bad and also sad. But let's just keep watching and see what happens if they go ahead to make a change. They could do that in the 75th minute when the game is completely done or out of their hands. It's just to observe and see what's happening. Good ball recovery there out to one Zaire-Emery. Zaire-Emery is playing as a central midfielder on attack and he's supposed to be on the right, but he's currently on the left-hand side. For some reason, there's a lot of chaos going on right now. But here's Park Myung-jin out to Zaire-Emery again. He couldn't get that into the net. It's time to actually take Zaire-Emery off, but I don't think I have a sure replacement. If I pause the game here, you can see our formation. We have one player that is currently alone, my number 3 in Gothroyd. Gothroyd is currently in the center all by himself. I don't think this is a very good thing, to be honest, because he could easily get outnumbered. But we're using the flanks really well. So in case I want to just sort that out, I can go ahead and ask my team to play a bit more narrow and look for player roles that tend to bring my players into the middle of the field a bit more. I can go and ask my inside forwards to sit a bit narrower. Even Fresno Orlando that is currently on attack duty, I can go ahead and ask him to sit a bit narrower, just to add some, or to give some help to Gothroyd. And Gothroyd as well, I can ask him to play as a defensive midfielder on support duty, so he can try to move around a bit rather than just stay there in the middle where nothing is happening. And instead of him just getting isolated, I do like the position. He's recycling possession well, but let's just see how the game unfolds. There is Gothroyd 9. Gothroyd has left the central position and is currently on the flank. So he has one possession for us out to Park Myung-jin. Here's Zaire-Emery out to Spasic again. Anton is trying to recycle possession well. He's supposed to play as an advanced playmaker, John Anton, but he has just... In fact, he's about to lose possession, right? Nope, doesn't lose it. Zaire-Emery again. And there's Anton running at the defense. 4-0. There is the advanced forward working for John Anton. So he was in the middle of the field and we found him in the edge of the box in just like a blink of an eye. He goes on, almost loses possession here. In fact, he does lose possession, but he just makes the run really quickly, just gets into position and finishes that off superbly. Deep lying forward on support or attack would not behave like that. That is an advanced forwards behavior. Love that. So what I tend to do is to bring in new players and change their role instantly. It makes it difficult for the AI to adjust, and it doesn't also make you feel stuck in one formation. Always remember, you can always change roles whenever you like. You're not really stuck in one, especially if you're using a very top team, an elite team. Be free to change roles as often as you can. What is Spasic doing? He's just running at the opposition's defense. I don't even have that instruction turned on, or do I? Hold on. We don't have it turned on, but why is he running at the defense? I think he just gave away possession right now. Oh, lovely ball. That's a goal. Should be offside. Do we have a clean sheet? Is it offside? He's offside. Yeah, he's offside. So that is a complete victory. We've gone on to beat Fernando Diniz and his Real San Sebastian side. They never really changed their shape from 4-2-3-1. So it's almost like they gave up after going 2-0 down, but we were in complete control now. The game is done. So that's 4-0. That's how I go about making changes, tweaking my tactics, making substitutions. It's basically how I go about managing the team, starting with a slow tempo, comprehensive highlights, looking at everything, how it unfolds. If everything is going good, I switch to a more extended highlights and try to finish off the game like that. But I'm already used to my team now, they're quite good, so I can play on key highlights or even extended highlights if I want to. But in case you want to see more in-game management videos like this, do let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.